It was a memorable studio moment from Amethyst Rockstar. I was recording the first single, Penny for a Thought. I was in the studio for the first time with Rick Rubin. I mean, I did it to myself basically because sometimes I'll write a series of like tongue twisters that are fun to try to execute, but also quasi-impossible to execute all the time, you know, without the mouth being where it is. So I'm in the vocal booth and I see Rick through the glass and I'm like, fuck, I'm in the studio with Rick Rubin, what the fuck? So I keep trying to like knock it off. I fuck up once, fuck up twice, get halfway through, fuck up again. I go through it like 10 times, I keep fucking up. I come out and I'm like, it's coming, man, it's coming, it's coming. I'm like, so I'm trying to create small talk. I'm like, so, I mean, you're in the studio with LL back in the day. Like, how many takes would it take him? He just looked at me, he was like, 1. Oh, well, I'm no LL, you know? I guess I don't lick my lips enough. But either way, that was hilarious. The main thing I learned from working with Rick Rubin on Amethyst Rockstar was, I'll never forget how it started. I had just released my first book of poetry through independent publisher More Black Press. It was called The Seventh Octave, and Rick had a copy of that book. We're walking through Central Park, and he's holding the book, and he's like, Saul, you're a great writer. And he hands me the Beatles' White Album. And he goes, this is songwriting. Learn the difference, all right? And it's like, when you have 20 songs to go into the studio. The main thing that I ended up getting from Rick that I carry with me to this day was his attention that he paid to song structure. For him, it's all about song structure. It's so not about effects. For him, it's all about something being recorded really clean and having that pop format song structure. So for example, I remember one point being in a car with him and we're listening to music and we're scrolling through stuff and we get to Jeff Buckley. And I'm like, oh, I love Jeff Buckley. You like Jeff Buckley? And he's like, I love his voice, but I hate his song structure. I had to go back and revisit all of my Jeff Buckley shit because I had never had that, you know, even a level of understanding to know how to listen in that way. So from that point forward, especially my second album, third, fourth, well, really, yeah, especially like the self-titled album and Niggy Tardust, which I did with Trent Reznor, I was still really focused on trying to execute what I thought Rick wanted me to learn about song structure. It's not until the album that I'm on now, Martin Luther King, that comes out in January, where I was like, okay, you know, thinking more like those jazz guys where it's like, you learn the structure so that you can break it. It's one thing to break the structure not knowing it. It's another thing to break the structure and to riff on the structure when you have a clear understanding of it. Now I feel like I have a clear understanding of it, and so now I'm really riffing on the idea of structure, especially considering like the state of music and radio play and all that. Like, it's just creating experiences. So that's been the big lesson from Rick Rubin.
We're talking about high school and grade school. This is a pivotal time. This is an impressionable time, especially a time where you should be using your creativity and figuring out how to use your creativity along with book smarts.
The father comes up from the back like this and starts like charging Ray and start boxing him. Boom. Like, oh shit, Ray's axe getting beat up by a kangaroo.
Keep hip hop strong and keep it going and put music, good music back out there to the community.
Like my career isn't comprised of Kanye West or Common only. Blue Collar, whatever we're talking about with J Records, Blue Collar was a classic album.